Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Beer Aficionados of the Greater Midwest in association with Beerploma.com. Today we're coming to you from a nice cold December day out here in Cold Springs, Minnesota. We're just about ready to go into Third Street Brewhouse, which is one of the best new breweries upcoming to Minnesota. So we're in for some great beers, and one just quick side note on this is that their Rise to the Top Cream Ale was voted by us, the Beer Aficionados of the Greater Midwest, as the #1 new beer of the year. So get back, enjoy, grab a beer, and drink with us. We're in for one heck of a treat. General Manager of Third Street Brewing.
Welcome.
And he's going to talk to us a little bit about the history of Third Street Brewhouse.
We are Third Street Brewhouse, and we are Cold Spring Brewing Company. A lot of people, we cause a little confusion of this because they ask, which one are you? And we say, yes, we're both. Our history goes back to 1874. We've been, this facility has been operating nonstop since 1874, even through Prohibition. They continued and did some non-alc beverages out of this facility. We are the Third Street Brewhouse because of the new brewhouse facility that we built as a separate building only. We're the same company, a separate building from our packaging facility. When we decided that we needed to get into craft beer, again, we've been around forever. Some of our beers were fairly marginal. You may have heard of the Glick brand and the Stite brand and various other brands. We had a very old and tired brewing system. We had fantastic brewers. We just didn't have the tools to do the beers that we wanted to. So we decided and convinced our ownership, if we're going to be in the beer business, we're going to call ourselves a brewery, we better do something that we can be proud of our beers. So we got the okay to spend anywhere between 12 and 14 million on a new brew house. And the tour you will see, and Horace will walk you through the uniqueness of our brew house. But when we built this building, we thought, what's a great name for this brew house? We are the Cold Spring Brewing Company, but there's been some negative connotations with that brand and that name in the market. So we wanted to do something to set us different, because we are doing something different. We're going to have a fantastic brew house. We're going to have a very talented staff of brewers. We're going to have branding that's different than it's ever been, and new distributors, and that whole, all those four components together will make you successful in the business. So we wanted a separate name, but we started building and didn't have it, and it was a little confusing, like, what are we going to call this place? It's not Cold Spring Brewing Company. It's going to have to be something different. And one day, as the construction was going out, someone walked out on the lot and was looking around, and there was a street sign across the corner that says Red River Avenue, which runs north and south, but there was the sign also said Third Street on it. But if you look at our facility, the alleyway that goes between our two facilities is definitely not a road. And if you look to the east, it's a gravel road, but the sign said Third Street North. So we thought, well, God, that'd be kind of a nice name. There must be some connection to that, to our brewery. And we did a little research and found out that the alleyway between our two facilities is abandoned Third Street. So we went through the process of trademarking the name and thought, there's no way we're going to get that name. There must be a Third Street brewery in every town that has that a brewery. And it came back that no one had registered. So we grabbed on that right away, and that's how we came up with our name. Now we have a name. We're still in the construction process. We want to be in the craft brewing business. We haven't named a director of beer yet. We haven't don't have a logo yet. We kind of have some ideas of the beers we want to do, but next logical step is to get our logo. So we like working with local Minnesota businesses. You'll hear later that a majority of the construction of the tanks and the piping is all Minnesota related, and we like doing business that way. We contact a group in St. Cloud, art people, and said, all right, we have a challenge for you. Well, now we've got this name, Third Street Brewhouse. We need a logo, and since it's a street name, we need a logo that looks like a street sign, but we don't want it to look like a street sign because that's just natural. We want to be a little bit different, so it can't look like a street sign. And they were really non-beer people, and they looked at us like, what are you people talking about? Is that what you beer people do, is confuse things? And no, that's something we want to set us apart. So they went back and did their artwork, which they're very talented at, and came back, and the first thing they came back with, we said, you hit it right on the head. And when you look at our logo, you'll see that it is 8-sided, 6-sided. You have a bloopers version of this?
Yes.
6-sided. I'm not a math teacher, so sometimes I get a little confused with that. So it's 6-sided, so it does look like a street sign, but they designed it so if you stare at it for about 2 seconds,
it gets
you'll see 3-dimensional, and that's the cornerstone of our new business. So that's exactly what we wanted to have. It's about us. We are the new cornerstone. We are located on the historic 3rd Street of Cold Spring, and that's how we started our branding. Not intentionally, but we've had a lot of things that we've started the process, and we go, wow, we're not sure how this is going to go. And at every crossroad that we've been, like if you're rolling the dice and you want double sixes, we've been getting the double sixes, a little very surprises. In fact, even Horace coming to work at our facility, we did not have a director of beer, and we wanted to bring another person in to work with Mike Knipe, who has been here for a number of years with our other brewing staff. But we wanted to put this team together to show consumers that we are serious about this business. We're just not going to play around. We want some very talented individuals. And again, we started the process not knowing who that person was, which was a little bit scary. We happened to get a lead about this person. We didn't even know his name. There's a person down in Georgia that used to work in Minnesota. You guys might be interested in this person. Like, okay, whatever. What? We had ads out in every magazine you can imagine, and we had resumes from people in Germany and Denmark and all over. So we want someone a little more domestic, someone who that comes from a craft brewing background. And I remember the day I was out at the lake and called Horace up, and when we first talked to him, and we were, wow, this gentleman is very interesting, very humble. You wouldn't even know that he's a brewer. He didn't give us much about his background, and we thought, wow, that sounds like an interesting person. But he told us he's been in Minnesota. Now he's down in Georgia. We're going, it's cold up here. It's Georgia. It's nice and warm. Why would anybody ever want to come back to us in Minnesota, really in a brewery that has not really proven itself? We've been, again, around for a long time, but we didn't really have this track record of being some fantastic facility. And Horace came up and visited us and talked to our crew, and after we left, we went, there's no way he's coming here. There's no way. It was just, we encouraged him to come, and shortly thereafter, he called up and says, yes, let's get going. Let's get this product, the brewery going. I'm excited about doing it. And again, since that day forward, it's been, everything has fallen just into place the way we wanted it to, with a lot of surprises, but every surprise has been a good surprise.
Hello guys, welcome back here. I'm here with Horace, the director of beers from Third Street Brewing, and he is about to walk us through the facility here and tell us a couple of great and interesting stories about the beers here. So kick back and enjoy that beer.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Very detailed design. Everything integrates very well and can be handled right from this control room. Brewers, very skilled brewers. Some of them come as far as from originally Scotland, some from the Caribbean. I'm from the Caribbean originally, West Indies. We have another brewers from the West Indies. We also have many experienced brewers who have started their careers here, and there are also others who started their careers outside in the area where we are tending to focus more and more craft brewing.
How many brewers do you have working at in the company as a whole?
We have different levels of brewers, so we have about 11.
You have about 11 brewers, and how many are working in the Third Street facility?
All
11?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We work 24 hours a day in most instances. We are a complex operation where we do other products as well. The key thing, though, about our brewery is that it's ultra precise. So consistency is one of our strengths now.
Okay.
We can make sure that all the stages are well monitored. As I keep repeating about versatility, we can use multiple ingredients in this plant. Most breweries are not as versatile about that. They can only use certain kinds of ingredients, certain techniques. It's broad-based. So the creativity here, because we have such a large team of experienced brewers as well that are coming from different areas, helps us to be able to offer to our customers and the people who love good craft beer what they're crying for.
So I'm taking that this is a very technology-driven process. How does technology play a role in the brewery that's different from, let's say, another brewery?
Well, many in this sector are doing it by manual interaction with the beer. We are not just doing it with manual interaction in the point of making our recipes and all that. We are able to measure to the 0.05 degree. We're able to measure to the ounce rather than, okay, it looks all right.
Yeah.
We are really set up so that we can make sure that our batch process is almost a continuous one. Because as you know, brewing is related to batching.
Yes.
And people expect when they come to the bar or pick up a 6-pack or even a 12-pack, that, hey,
it's
I've
consistent.
gotten the same beer
Yes.
from last week, you know? So that has become one of our strengths. And you can taste that in all of our lead products that we have, our Rice and Top Cream Ale, our Lost Trout Brown Ale, and our Bitter Neighbor Black IPA. Wonderful. And we are going to be producing new seasonals for you. And we are on the cusp of launching one. It's going to be excellent. We have a beautiful mash tun. This is the beautiful mash tun we have. Once more, it's wonderful logo, Third Street Brewhouse, right there. Inside, that base malt that was ground will come inside. As you can see, there's an agitator inside as well as heating jackets. But it's so set up that we can bring in on this system here or dry specialty malts. These are usually small proportions of the brew recipe, but they impact the color, the flavor, the texture, everything in the beer is really managed in a craft beer by that mix of malts that you use for a specific recipe. So that is introduced into the mash tun as well. Okay. In that mash process, it goes through a conversion so that you begin to extract things that the workmen of a brewhouse need the yeast.
Can I ask what your capacity is? This looks to be a little bit bigger than a, I can't remember, it's like a 15-barrel system.
Yeah.
So about how much can you brew here at once?
Nominal brew volume is about 75 barrels. The maximum throughput here is about 12 brews a day.
Okay, wow.
So it's, once more, that makes it unique.
Very
set up for rapid changes, growth, flexibility in brew styles that you can brew in one day. You can change from program to program so that you can actually do many styles all at once. The system here, after the conversion, and that's one manual thing that the brewer does, it confirms that there is a conversion complete, like the starch is converted into soluble sugars. He confirms that. That mash is then stopped and it's transferred over to our lauter tun, let's say. This is an extremely modern lauter tun. If you look inside, you can see that there are little slits in the bottom. Most lauter tuns have that. But the free area or the filtration capability of this is far faster than the average lauter tun. New technology. If you also look at the ends of those zigzag shaped rakes, there are little brass pieces on the bottom.
Yep.
That's because the whole thing is stainless steel. Yeast do need a little copper for their life cycle.
Yep.
So it's even thinking about that and the technology that we have enhanced.
So every single little detail, you guys just narrowed it down and making like the perfect craft beer.
Right. That's exactly how it is. It's wonderful.
So
it's a thrill for me. As a director of beer, boy, this is my talk.
I can imagine this must be like Willy Wonka's of brew houses. So
no, you said the right word.
So how fast producing a beer or making a new batch of beer? How fast does it go through the boil process to the fermenter?
The boiling process is actually shorter than most brew houses, and I'm going to lead you to that special vessel too. This is just a vessel that increases the brew rate so that we can get that 12 brews per 24 hours. But let me show you this kettle. Another unique technology, you could say, almost unique. If you look inside this one, special boiling system. And that boiling system allows you to cut down the boil time significantly, yet get the concentration, the sterility, the gravity or the weight of the liquid, concentration of that liquid, and the everything that you wanted, the flavors, the hops going into the boiling process occurs right here. So this system volatilizes certain negative flavors that we all know in beer as well rapidly. So you can know, even analyzing it at this level, that everything is perfect. Okay? So this is called a Jetstar vessel. If you can see this, brewer actually charges these vessels at the beginning of the brew. Okay. All the different types of hops you want to use. It's a tiny discharge into the kettle, and so you can use any kind of hop you want. Cascade, Centennial, Citra, Magnum, anything.
So this is where you guys put your hops.
Hops is done in here in pelletized form.
In pelletized form, and then it injects it up into when it needs to go into at the perfect time.
Right. It's a time discharge that's set up in the recipe previously when you're pressing them up to stop. So
I've never seen one of these before. It's the first time for me.
So you don't have to think, wait, did I miss that hops? The signal is on the control saying, did you load that hops? So it makes sure that you cannot make a mistake.
It removes the human error out of it.
Human error doesn't exist. If you look at also the piping here, it's all food grade stainless steel. Everything is piped so as to attract cleanliness.
How did you get into brewing? Like how did you start in the world of brewing?
Well, I went to college and I did applied microbiology degree, and my first job was in a brewery. Okay. And I haven't left except for a very short time.
Now, I mean, when you started that all, did you ever imagine that you would find yourself as the director of beer at a brewery like this, working in a facility with this much to offer?
Well, one thing, I love Minnesota, so it doesn't hard to get me here. The point is that it's a dream, you know, to have this and also be tied up with the commissioning and also the design of the whole facility was really wonderful. You know, it's something that people should turn down if that opportunity falls in their lap.
I know I could. Yeah. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, so go ahead.
No, not a problem. Another unique part, this is patented technology for the Hopland GEA Corporation. This is a whole leaf hop strainer.
Oh wow!
So we can use whole leaf hop even.
You guys got it all?
We got it all. And
do you guys use pellets more, or do you guys use whole leaf more?
We use pellets
more.
Pellets are a lot very good from the hop point of view. The leaf comes in with some sort of unique flavors coming through it. That's very good.
Is it because the pellets are more consistent?
Yes.
Or okay.
Well said. So this is our hop strainer. What it is basically strainer, parabolic strainer here that the leaves come in and is extracted either to the whirlpool or to the kettle.
Now, normally at this point in one of these tours, my first question is what makes this brewery unique? But I mean, I think we've captured what makes this brewery unique very easily. So you guys have so many advantages. Are there any disadvantages that you would like to see in the future to add to it, or is, I mean, it looks like the perfect setup to me, but
one disadvantage.
One disadvantage.
Decoction brewing is not simple, but it can be done.
It can be done.
So remember that the liquid is virtually at boiling temperature when you finish the hot side, the brewing process, and you have to cool it down to the temperature at which the yeast is most at home. It's his environment now. I want to work. I need to be at home on the beach. No. Actually, Minnesota, perfect temperature for brewing beer. So we have a wort cooler here, and that cools the wort in less than an hour, each charge. It's a two-stage cooler, but what's so interesting is in years when I started brewing, these things were about 4 times the size to match the same capacity.
That is pretty small. That is pretty small.
And that's where new technology and design comes through and very strong and helps us to be able to make good beer. Yeah, aren't these beautiful?
They are very beautiful.
And imagine all these tanks were built less than 20 miles away.
So you guys kept it local?
Kept it local. Truly a Minnesota brewery, except for the German technology. These are conical fermenters, and it's a one-step process in here. Allows you to run the unitank technology. But it also allows us to be able to transfer from one tank to the next. These tanks with the flat bottoms are the bright beer tanks. They can be used for conditioning as well. Similarly, our fermenters are that designed so they can be used as bright beer tanks.
Okay. Yeah. Just a quick question is, how long does your beers take to ferment? What's the difference between an ale and a lager here?
It depends. The lagers will take a lot longer. Not on average, it's about a 3-week process on a ale. But we really don't specify because we have such unique recipes, and each different person who comes to visit us sets up their own profile. So this is what it is. You can see it's virtually all stainless steel piping except for these hoses. This is some total of hoses we have in place. Still control from that control panel. We have a satellite control room right in this area as well for the cellars. So they could even control the brew house while the brew house is here. So actually one person can run this brewery up to a certain stage. Okay.
How many fermenters do you guys have?
We have 12.
And each one of them are capable of handling a 75-gallon batch?
No, they're 450.
No.
450.
10 of them are 450. 2 are 150s. Yeah. So we like to, at any given time we can have over 62,000 cases of beer in process back in our cellar.
Amazing.
And this is just one cellar. We also have another cellar that is across the Third Street alley.